Welcome, beautiful Paris Saint-Germain family. No intro again because we're exposing someone else. We've exposed Mbappe. We've exposed Lionel Messi. Not exposed Lionel Messi. Mbappe is the only player that had to be exposed. But now it's time for Luis Campos. Luis Campos. Where do I stand with Luis Campos? Should we, as Paris Saint-Germain fans, be giving him a second chance for next season? And how has his first season turned out to be at Paris Saint-Germain? So as we all know, Luis Campos was part of the package to keep Mbappe at Paris Saint-Germain. Even though I'm against the Mbappe extension, Luis Campos was always a sporting director that I always looked positively onto. He has scouted and brought up a lot of great players, including Bernardo Silva, including Rafael Leao, including Victor Osimhen, all of these players through the Lille and Monaco teams. But now it's time for actually coming to a big squad, Paris Saint-Germain. Of course, he had a small role at Real Madrid previously, I believe in 2011 to 2013, something like that. But now he's the sporting director at Paris Saint-Germain, and he really craved for this job. He wanted a big sporting director job at a big club, and he got it here. It was also the main reason Christophe Galtier became the manager, because he wanted someone that he trusted, that he has worked with, and that he pretty much could be the dominating factor, the alpha over. And we have seen over this season how Luis Campos has used that power over Galtier. For example, storming into the dressing room against Monaco, going down to the field versus Lille, and nearly doing so versus Olympique Lyonnais as well. The issue for me with Luis Campos is that, has he failed with both of his transfer windows? Failed is a hard word, but has he met expectations? Definitely no. Has he done good enough? Definitely no. And when you are not doing your job well enough, you should not go and tell people how to do their job. That's exactly what Kylian Mbappe tried to do. He tried to tell Luis Campos how to do his job. Again, I hate when people try to tell other people how to do their job when they're not even doing their job properly. If you're doing your job properly, all right. I'm raising my hands up. Do it. If you feel you need to do it, it's excusable. It's understandable. But when you're not even doing your job, you should not be telling other people how to do their job. And that's my biggest issue with Luis Campos. I've been a Paris Saint-Germain fan since 2012. And I've never seen a sporting director that includes the toxic Leonardo going down to the pitch and telling the players and manager how to do their job. I believe those stuff from Luis Campos has frustrated and took the toxicity levels in the squad by the players even more. His spat, of course, with Neymar Jr. in that Monaco game, I think that had a big effect, because Neymar said some stuff he shouldn't have said, but none of that would have happened if Luis Campos didn't have gone down and said what he said. And recently with the reports, Luis Campos is under threat at Paris Saint-Germain. Reason is he's not had a great season. Let's look at his transfer window. Renato Sanches, a lot of us were questioning his injury prone before. But we were like, all right, if Luis Campos wants to get him, it was a cheap deal. That's one thing we can take away from Luis Campos, is every deal he made in the summer, economically, it looked good. Vitinha, apart from maybe Vitinha, but that was a release clause, and a lot of teams were competitive for his signing, including Liverpool FC, so we had to make it quick. Fabian Ruiz, Renato Sanches, all of these guys were bought for below their market value, including Noureddin Mukiele, who's been a great signing. Renato Sanches, though, as I said, why he hasn't been performing so much this season is mostly because of injuries, but we as PSG fans and Luis Campos knew that before the season. So I don't know why he really did that. Fabian, we all thought was a great signing, but according to Napoli fans, it's not been great over the 2 years. So another question mark there on Luis Campos. Ekitike, again, 35 million for him. We're going to pay him next summer. But with us not having that much money last summer, Ekitike was maybe a smart deal because we got him for free. At least we didn't have to pay something there. For me, the issue with Luis Campos is he bought players, all right, but he didn't buy what Galtier wanted. Galtier obviously wanted a right winger, a right midfielder. That's why we were linked with Ziyech and Malcolm, a lot of these players in January. But why didn't we do that in the summer? And who made the decision to say Sarabia is good enough to be the fourth attacker at Paris Saint-Germain. If it was Luis Campos, that's another terrible mistake of him. And the signing of Carlos Soler, I don't think even we have to talk about it. Even though a lot of reports are saying it's mostly due to Nasser helping out his friend Peter Lim at Valencia. If Luis Campos had something to do with that as well, it's a bit troubling. And then his work with Celta Vigo. How can you try to be the sporting director for two big clubs, one big club in Paris Saint-Germain, whilst you're working with Celta Vigo as well? And Celta Vigo fans are also mad at him because he's not done a great job there. And it's reported that in the next season, he wants to continue doing multitasking like this. Luis Campos, if you did your Paris Saint-Germain job perfectly, I have no issue with you working with Celta Vigo on the side. But when your job is not good enough here at Paris Saint-Germain, you should only focus on Paris Saint-Germain. But you know what? With all of this, has Luis Campos been a bit of a clown this season? 100%, 100%. And let me know in the comments down below if you agree if Luis Campos has had a clownish job this season. But I think he deserves another chance, 100%. Managers come and go, but sporting directors are given much more time, and that's because it takes them even more time to implement what they really want. And when we can see their players really giving those fruits that we expect from him, Luis Campos this summer is looking much more, I don't know, planning wise. Last season, it wasn't that much planning, it felt, but this time it's a lot of planning. He's already had a lot of different players he wants to sign, like the Kones and Turams and all of these players, a lot of players from last season's transfer window. Milan Skriniar, of course, arriving on a free. That's a great deal by Luis Campos, even though Antero, Leonardo and Nasser Khalifi also worked on that profile. And he's also looking to scout a lot of young players, and getting a lot of young players on free. Of course, we had the recent Nahaga from Porto, and he's looking at Cher Ander from Benfica, another Benfica graduate. So he's scouting these young players as he did at Monaco and Lille. The only question mark here is, do these players, will they get the minutes enough to build up? Will they get that experience? Hopefully we'll loan them out. But to end this video, Luis Campos definitely deserves a chance at Paris Saint-Germain. But his first season, I wouldn't call it a failure, but I would call it way off expectations. A failure is a 2 out of 10, a 1 out of 10, or a 0 out of 10. I would give Luis Campos for his first season at Paris Saint-Germain a rating of 6 out of 10. Let's hope that Luis Campos does an even better job next season. Allez Campos, allez Paris. Smash the like button if you enjoyed this video. Subscribe to the PSGINT YouTube channel. And as always, allez, allez, allez Paris.